Yeah, Mom?
Guess what I found?
Oh no! Mom! Are you okay?
Yeah, I meant to do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure, Mom. These are the biggest knitting needles I've ever seen.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Imagine all the things we can knit with these giant needles.
A jump rope!
A tablecloth for giants!
A leash for your dog.
A leash for your mom.
Olive.
What?
A scarf for an elephant.
Socks for a dinosaur.
A hat for a narwhal. The unicorns of the sea.
Mom, snap out of it. I have an idea. When you taught me how to knit, sometimes it was hard for me to see what you were doing with small needles. We should use these giant needles to help everyone see what's happening.
Olive, that's an amazing idea. Let's start with casting on. There she blows! Casting on is where you create the first row of stitches.
Remember how knitting is kind of like building with blocks? You need somewhere to start, a place to keep adding blocks. The first row of loops is the same thing. It gives you a starting place to add knitting stitches.
The first step to casting on is tying a slip knot. To tie a slip knot, take a piece of yarn, make a loop like this, and cross over the two yarns. Put the yarn that's attached to the working yarn through the hole and make a loop like this. The working yarn is the yarn we'll use to knit. It's the part that's still attached to your yarn ball. Pull it so that it's tight enough to stay in place. There we go! We have our slip knot!
Nice slip knot, right, Mom?
Sure is. Now, hold this. Once we have our slip knot on our right needle, then we need to cast on the rest of our stitches. We make loops by crossing the yarn like this and sliding it onto the needle. The more loops you put on your needle, the wider your pouch will be. You can just keep putting on more and more and more.
Whew! Knitting with giant needles is hard work. It really makes your arms tired.
Well, not when you have bomb arms.
Bomb arms! Bomb arms! Bomb arms!
But you don't need mom arms to knit. One of my favorite parts about knitting is choosing the yarn. There are so many different sizes and colors to choose from. I love orange. Mom, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Awesome, here you go.
Wait, I changed my mind. I like red. No, green. White. No, sparkly purple.
Mom, please just choose a color.
Fine. I choose blue.
Really?
Yeah, that's like my favorite color.
You're lucky I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too, sweetheart. Now that we've chosen the color that our magical pouch of possibilities is going to be, let's try casting on with smaller needles.
Yeah, a lot smaller. Remember, we start with a slip knot. To tie a slip knot, take a piece of yarn, make a loop like this, and cross over the two yarns.
Put the yarn that's attached to the working yarn through the hole and make a loop like this. The working yarn is the yarn we'll use to knit. It's the part that's still attached to your yarn ball. Pull it so that it's tight enough to stay in place.
To make the first stitch, we'll use the same cast on as we did with the giant needles, the backwards loop. This is the easiest way to cast on in knitting. Remember, make sure your working yarn, the yarn that's still attached to the ball, is in front, and the tail, the part of the yarn that's hanging out, is in back. Grab your yarn in your left hand and wrap the working yarn around your left finger like this. Then take your needle and draw a line up your finger and close the loop as you slide your finger out. Remember, the more loops you put on your needle, the wider your pouch will be.
I've got this many, so that my pouch will be this wide.
Cool. I cast on this many loops, so my pouch will be this wide.
Now that you know how to cast on, you're ready for the next step. In the next lesson, we'll show you how to knit using the knit stitch.
Yes, let's jump into our magic pouch of possibilities.
You're gonna need a bigger pouch.
Not literally, Mom.